All right, Dad, tell me about that wedding.
Well, I was in Fort Walters, Texas, going through flight school, and we graduated from flight school, and I think I graduated like 71 or 72 out of 250, so not too bad. And mom had come down a month before. We decided that we were engaged. We decided to get married when I went from Fort Walters, Texas, to Fort Rutgers, Alabama, for my technical training and flight training. And it was on a Saturday, August 19th, 1967. It was a Saturday. And I was supposed to take off from Dallas at 8 o'clock in the morning. I had a plane ticket there, land in Detroit, land in Chicago, and then in Detroit, and then come to the wedding and come to my parents' house. Joe and Ray were going to pick me up at the airport. And Joe, so I get on the airplane, I'm flying, and it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We're married at 6 o'clock. I'm still circling Chicago, you know. And finally land, get on another plane, get on there. And back then there was only the North Terminal. I forget the name of that terminal, what they named it back then. And you could drive right up there, and you know, a lot of times people would park for a few minutes, run in, do something, come back, and nobody ever bothered you. You could walk right to the plane. You know, there was no security, no guards, no cops, no nothing. And when I landed in Detroit, I remember this is August 1967. That was the year of the Detroit riots. And there was smoke coming from downtown Detroit when I looked out the airplane window. Of course, I land in Detroit, get out, and I'm in civilian clothes. And, you know, I was 5'11", maybe 6 foot, close to 6 foot or something like that. And probably weighed a buck 40, buck 50, you know, at the most, you know. And Joe was a pretty big guy back then, you know, and him and Ray are picking me up, and get off the airplane, come walking down the walkway, and here's Joe, and he's got his tux partially on, you know, the pants with the suspenders, but no coat, you know, white shirt and that sort of stuff, you know. Can I swear?
Sure.
Where the fuck you been? That's what Joe's first words were. And he grabs me by the back of the neck and off the luggage we got. Pick up my luggage. He's got my duffel bag on one hand. And he's got me in the other hand. Me run tiptoeing through I don't know how true tiptoeing was, but he had his hands on my back, I'll tell you that. And outside there's Ray. And Ray's got a 58 Chevy convertible. And it was white with red tinting, or not tinting, but outlines around it. And knowing Ray, he was a hot rodder, and it was pretty fast. And I don't know if it was a freeze free or sport speed, but it was a stick. And I remember screaming down Merriman Road, and me in the back of that thing, hair flying, you know. So I run into my dad's house, and I changed my clothes into my uniform because I wanted to get married in my uniform. And I had a bag. Well, that's what I didn't have a duffel bag. I had a bag that I had a clean uniform and stuff on, and so I'm doing my brasses and putting all my stuff on, and you know, polishing my shoes and making sure everything is, you know, squared away. As in military terms, that's what you do when you get dressed. You square yourself away, you know, and get in my dad's car. My dad had a 55 Ford, two-door, Crown, it was in the Crown Victoria, it was LTD, okay? And, of course, you drive down Grayfield from Joy Road to Van Buren and go to the back way into the church, you know? And I'm expecting this to be a small chapel wedding. That's what Diane had been telling me all this time and all this stuff, you know, and drive through the back of the church there. There's the gym and the church hall and part of the school and the end's there and a big parking lot. And then on the one end is two ball fields down there. And there's all these cars in the parking lot. And I'm, wow, something must be going on at the hall. There's all these cars there, you know. And then I drive down Dale, which is the street next to the church that runs into Joy Road. And there's all these cars parked along this stuff. And Joe and my dad pulls me up. He says, "You're expected in the church, you know." So I walk over there, and there's two side doors that went into the church, and the sanctuary was right there. And I'm waiting in there, and the church is packed. Some people were standing on the aisles. That's how many people there were there. And of course, Mom said that there's no way that Grandma could have a small wedding with all the people. I don't know how many people were there. I would say maybe between 2 and 3, maybe even 400 for one. I was in a daze, and you know, and all I remember is standing at the altar with Dick, Joe, and Kenny. I think Kenny Mignall was part of our entourage, my entourage. And Diane walking down there with her dad, and how beautiful she was. I just remember that. I'll never forget that day. That's it. That's all it was.